All right, people of the internet, what are we doing today? So today we are taking a look at Mel Robbins' book, The Let Them Theory. All right. And we will break down her simple idea that intends to make your relationship and life less stressful. So this whole idea started when she was at her lowest point. You see, Mel Robbins was once deep in debt and afraid to get out of bed. So she used a 5-second rule that forced her to get moving. But here's the question: what happens when the problem is not you, but it is everyone else? So, first, let's have a look at the origins of this theory. Mel Robbins shares that she hit rock bottom when she was 41 years old. In fact, she had $800,000 in debt, she was not working, and she felt totally stuck. After that, she started a simple trick, which is she started counting down from 5 to 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like a basic NASA launch. And this trick helped her act before her brain could talk her out of it. At first, she used this trick just to simply get out of bed. Then she used it to look for work and also to face her bills. And as a result, and by doing this slowly, she was able to rebuild her entire life. And now she has a tool that she wants to share with everyone. And this new tool is specifically designed for dealing with other people. Now, that first rule helped her control herself, but this new theory is about letting go of everyone else. So, the main idea behind this new tool is pretty simple. The truth is, we waste tons of energy when we try to manage other people. For example, we want them to be on time, or be in a good mood, or agree with us. Instead, Mel Robbins says that the best thing to do is just let them. In other words, you let them be late, you let them be grumpy, or let them have their own opinion. So the point is, it's not your job to fix them or control them. But she says you cannot just stop right there with that first step. You see, the second and most important step is called let me. So after you let them, you must ask, what will I do next? And this let me part is where you take your power back. So now you have the idea, but how does this actually work when you're stressed out? All right, let's think about the stress that you might feel every day. For example, you might be in a slow line or see someone driving so badly, or maybe your boss is ignoring the work that you're doing. Well, usually we just get angry and stressed out in these kinds of circumstances. And this reaction flips your brain into the mode of fight or flight. Instead, the first thing to do, or the first thing you can do, is to simply just say, let them. In other words, let them be slow, or let them be a bad driver, or let the boss be clueless. The point is, this simple step stops you from reacting right away. Then, after that, you see the second step, which is, first step was what? It was let them. Now the second step is let me. You let them, and then you let me, you let yourself. You can say, let me breathe, or let me move to another lane, or maybe it's let me start looking for a new job when you're dealing with a nasty boss. You see, you don't control them, but you always control your own response. Now, this is this definitely works for traffic, but what about something harder like worrying about what other people think of you? The truth is, many of us feel stuck because we worry about what others think. So you can let them judge you or let them think you're wrong or silly. Because, once again, the truth is, you cannot control their thoughts about you anyway. Instead of asking, what will they think? You simply ask, what choice will make me proud? And this way of thinking frees you to post your work or take that risk. Also, this idea is very helpful for dealing with difficult people. For example, if someone gives you the silent treatment or gets angry, well, what do? Just let them. Simply let them. The point is, it's not your job to manage their feelings for them. Instead, you can say, let me stay calm and stick to my values. And that's it. Now, letting go of opinions is one thing, but what about when you're comparing yourself to others who seem to have it all? Of course, when you compare yourself to other people, it feels terrible. So, Mel Robbins says, what does she say? She says that you should sort these comparisons into two piles. The first pile she talks about is what she calls torture. And this is stuff you can't change, like their height or their family. In that case, you just have to let them have it. But the second pile is different, and she calls it teacher. You see, this is stuff you can change, like their skills, habits, or network. So here, the idea is to let them be your teacher. You can say, let me learn from what they did to succeed, and let me start putting in the work just one small step at a time. So this focus on let me, it changes how you deal with yourself, but it also completely changes your relationships, starting with friends. You know, in school, making friends can seem pretty easy, but as adults, what? People get busy, they move away, or they simply stop texting back. And it is really easy to get your feelings hurt by this. Again, Mel Robbins says that the best response is just to, you guessed right, let them. You can let them be busy or let them fade for a season or whatever. Then you need to use the let me step for yourself. For example, let me be the one who sends the text first. Or let me invite someone for a coffee with no hard feelings if they say no. Sometimes people say no. Also, this works when you want someone to change, like, for instance, your partner. The truth is, you cannot make them change just by nagging them. It won't work. In fact, pressure usually just makes them fight back against you. Instead, you should, what? Let them be on their own timeline for change. And you can focus on, let me just live the change I want to see. You see, your good example is much stronger than your nagging ever was. But what about when it's not just annoying behavior? What about when someone is really struggling? So, when someone you love is struggling, you often want to rescue them. But Mel Robbins warns that trying to rescue them often makes things worse, because it stops them from feeling the pain that they may need to feel to change. So, unless they're in immediate danger, just let them. let them face the results of their choices. Instead, you can focus on let me offer support and not rescue. And this means you will have to set some clear boundaries. For example, you could say, I will drive you to therapy, but I will not pay your bills. You can also use this same kind of strength when you are finding love. It means you can stop chasing people who are sending mixed signals. Instead, you can just let them show you who they really are. And then, if their actions don't match their words, let me choose myself and walk the hell out of here and walk away. Now, all of these ideas like stress, opinions, and love, they all come back to one final powerful shift. In the end, this whole theory is not really about them, it's about you. The truth is, you've been letting other people's moods and opinions drive your life, and that's bad. You see, let them means simply that you are accepting reality, and let me means that you get to decide what to do next. It's as simple as that. For example, you can't control the weather, but you can bring an umbrella. It's a nice example. So the point is, this helps you stop wasting energy on things you cannot change. That's it. You can't stop tiptoeing around other people, and you can stop chasing love. Because it is time for you to start your let me era. This is when you say, let me focus on my goals, and let me build a life that makes me proud of myself. So when you put this all together, the biggest change isn't even in relationships. The surprising thing is, the more you let them be, the less stressed you become. At that point, you stop trying to control everyone and get your energy back, and then you finally get to focus on your own life instead. It's a simple idea to remember. So the main idea is, you cannot control them, but you can always control you. And that's it. So this was our review of Mel Robbins' book, The Let Them Theory. See you on the next one.